Welcome to Entrepreneurial Entrails for some short stories on the guts and glories of being an entrepreneur. Hello and welcome to Across the Desk. My name is Elizabeth Plouffe and I'm here today with Entrepreneurial Entrails and specifically Wise Word Wednesdays. And what is Wise Word Wednesdays? Well, I tend to read a lot and I tend to research a lot. I'm a bit of a geek that way. And so I developed Wise Word Wednesdays because I'm sure I'm not the only person looking for these resources. And I also like to cut to the chase. I also like to get to the good stuff really fast because, I don't have time, and I'm sure you don't either as a business owner, to wade through the crap. So hopefully this will help you to avoid wading through the crap because that's stinky. So today I'm talking to you about a book that I got given a few years ago. And the author's name is Scott Stratten. And he wrote a book called Unmarketing, Stop Marketing, Start Engaging. And this is the 2012 edition. There's a new one coming out, which I can't wait to see. And just for a full disclosure, whatever you want to call it, I don't get paid or endorsed or any kind of, I don't know, I get a high five on Twitter is pretty much all I get for reviewing these things, the online tools or the desktop tools or the books or what have you. It's simply because I like sharing resources. It's simply because I know the pain. So just wanted to get that out of the way. So why this book? Well, I read a lot of business books. I read Drucker and Vaynerchuk and all, strategizer books and all kinds of things. And this one, you just gotta love a business book that not only helps your business and gives you practical, actionable items and straight to your face advice and, calls on all kinds of BS that people do when they're using social media and marketing, but it made me laugh. And I love that. If you can teach me and make me laugh, I just, double whammy. It's like getting a free donut or something. It's fantastic. So I just wanted to, first I'll tell you about Scott Stratten and Unmarketing, and I'm going to read directly from their website just because we all know how important branding is and what have you. And then a couple of funny stories, and I'm going to read you some stuff from his book because it's awesome and you'll laugh too. So Scott and Allison Stratten are co-authors of 4 best-selling business books, co-owners of Unmarketing Inc., and co-hosts of not only the Unpodcast, which is really good, but 5 children, 2 dogs, and 2 cats. This site, the show, and the books all represent their thoughts on the changing world of business through their experiences of entrepreneurship, 2 degrees for Allison, not long lasting as an employee for both of them and me, and screaming at audiences around the world. Scott, Allison is more polite. These are their words, not mine. They were put on this earth to remind the world that not all Canadians are passively polite. Businesses like PepsiCo, Saks Fifth Avenue, IBM, Cirque du Soleil, Microsoft, and others have been brave enough to want their advice, to the point that Scott has been named one of the top 5 social media influencers in the world by Forbes.com. They now spend their time keynoting around the world and realize they rank 10th and 11th in order of importance in their home. Oh, and they met on Twitter. How's that for ROI? So that last comment also leads into some of the topics that Scott covers on marketing. And it's only his name on the book, so I'm not ignoring Allison. I'm going by what's written on the book. So some of the chapters and ones that I'm going to read from, there's trust a gap. There's reasons why companies don't use social media, and some of them are really stupid. There's a social currency with social media. There is, what's this one? Sorry. How Twitter changed my business, and I've gotten some great ideas out of that. And don't feed the trolls, which I love because I hate trolls. And I know you shouldn't hate people because hate's a really strong word to use. But if you have nothing better to do while you're sitting in your basement turning pasty white and petting your 600 cats than be mean to people online, if you can't be mean to somebody in person, being mean online doesn't make you extra special. It just makes you extra sad and extra mean. So when I read this part, I was like, yes, because trolls, you need to go get a life. It's not nice. So I'm going to start with some stuff that jumped out for me, and trust gap was a huge one. And this also led me to create another podcast that I'm going to record shortly called Cheesy Awesome Sauce. And once I read this to you, you'll understand the Cheesy Awesome Sauce referral. So chapter 3, trust gap. Why do you buy the things you do? Turn the mirror on yourself for a minute and think about how you make choices about your own purchases. Trust is one of the main drivers of that hierarchy. The higher the trust, the more likely it is that someone will do business with you. This is an important point in service-based businesses that many business owners fail to recognize. I'm a service-based business. I was singing a hallelujah on this. One of the biggest challenges is to get someone to try a service for the first time. So companies offer a way to get you to try it without risk. Unfortunately, we often equate this with giving something away for free, but this does not always address the issues of trust. So I found that really telling. This whole chapter really spoke to the fact that I try and be very WYSIWYG on all my social media. What you see is what you get. I tend to value truth and honesty very highly, and if my BS meter goes off, I get really cranky really fast. And that's another reason that I love this book. My BS meter never went off. So if you're in a service-based industry, and specifically I'm in communications, obviously, this was an interesting chapter. One of the things that I run into as a communications consultant professional is two things. People trying to use social media to save their business when it's already in deep trouble and their sales funnel is empty and they've not engaged online at all, and now all of a sudden they want to rah-rah turn it around in 6 months, which for me to you is never going to happen. And they just don't make it a priority. They don't see the value on it. The ROI is, as Scott mentions in here, and it can be a real challenge to get them to understand the value of it and to put the time into it. So chapter 8, reasons why companies don't use social media. No matter how many times I sing the praises of social media, no matter how many case studies I present, company reps always give me an excuse of why they can't jump in. They say they have no time, there is no ROI, they have no control, or there is no geographic boundary if they are local. If you say you have no time to listen and to talk with people in your marketplace, then you are saying that you have no time for your customers. You need to make time to be in that conversation. If you believe business is built on relationships, then what could possibly be more important? And that was really telling, because I think part of the challenge with some of the cheesy awesome sauce accounts out there is that people only see it as a marketing tool. They only see it to promote themselves versus providing value first. And when you're asking somebody to take a chance on your expertise and trust you with their business, you need to ease off on the cheesy awesome sauce, because you wouldn't trust somebody who was like you, so why are you expecting other people to? So social media is social currency. This was a really interesting point again. The problem with the term social media is that whenever people see the word media, they automatically think push, like awful commercials and pop-ups and what have you. Media has been classically linked as a way to push your message out through a variety of methods, such as television, newspapers, radio, and online. However, social media isn't media at all. It is simply a conversation with two or more people. It's an action, not a site. Social media isn't Twitter or Facebook. It isn't the new website flavor of the week. It's the ability to have conversations online with others, whether it is your market, customers, colleagues, or anyone who happens to come across your conversation. Twitter isn't social media if you use it to just send out ads and blog post updates. That's a glorified RSS feed in 140 characters. That's cheesy awesome sauce. If you're only putting out stuff that's promotion, push, oy vey. I unfollow those people faster than I can't even think of an appropriate term, because I was going to be really rude. One of the last points that he really focuses on, which I really value, is the thing around authenticity and transparency. And what I mean by that is, not rah-rah kumbaya, but not putting one face on for the public and one in private. Your brand is what it is across the board. And one of the worst things I think people do is automating all their tweets. And not only automating all their tweets, but they also do those automatic response things when you follow them. I'm sorry, but thanking me for following you by marketing to me right away is kind of like making an inappropriate gesture when we're out networking. You wouldn't come up to me and come up right in my face and say, "Hi, would you like my free book? You don't know who I am or anything about me, but I have a copy of my free book right here, and I can guarantee you that you're going to love it." If you don't like those people, if you wouldn't do that in public, For God's sake, don't do it on social media. Don't do it on behalf of your business. People notice. They notice that you're pouring on the cheesy awesome sauce, and they will run. And even though it may look as though you have a ton of followers on a variety of accounts, if only 10 or 15 people are engaging with your content on a regular basis, one, you've probably bought all those followers, which is yucky. And two, you're not doing your business any favors. Because anybody worth their salt is going to check those things, and they're going to realize that you're full of junk. They're not going to follow you. Eventually, I don't know how long it'll take, but I'm going to suspect not very long, you're going to be sunk like the Titanic, but messier, because it's all online and it never goes away. So an example of the transparency on Twitter, which I found really funny. This is chapter 37 that he's got here called Your Transparency on Twitter, ironically. Not ironically. An example of this, of not being transparent, was when I saw a well-known speaker who I knew was on a cruise for a week with no internet access tweeting out a pitch for his upcoming workshop. People saw the tweet and replied and asked him specific questions about the workshop because they were interested in potentially attending, and nothing happened. No reply came from him until 5 days later, flip the page, when he returned from the cruise. When people asked why it took him so long to reply, he said, "Sorry, I was on a cruise for a week without access," which then led to the logical follow-up question, if you had no access, how did you tweet about your workshop in the first place? You see what can happen here? If you want to build a presence on the social media platform, then you need to be present. So that's just a small example of some of the fantastic things that he talks about. And it's really a really no bullshit experience. And I'm sorry, I don't like to cuss, but it's really a no bullshit experience with this book. And one of the cool things he's done, which I've now seen in a few other books, is he's got these wonderful little footnotes that are really funny. And they either give you extra information or a little glimpse into his thought process about why he wrote what he wrote. And he's talking here about the opt-in process. And where does it go here? Once they confirm, this is all we'll talk about sales funnel another day. But he puts down here, feel free to opt out once you see this process. It'll only make me cry a little bit. So then he talks about a movie that he had made, which I can't find yet, by the way, called The Time Movie, has had 4 million views. And, that sounds like he's trying to pump up his ego, but he puts at the bottom here, 4 million views and $5 will get me a Starbucks coffee. So he appears to be, never met the man, although we have chatted on Twitter, and appears to be quite a humble, intelligent, and funny guy. One of the last bits I'll leave you with was one of the videos that I watched, Mr. Stratten, because I don't know you, so I'm going to call you Mr. Stratten, was delivering a keynote in 2016 to the National Speakers Association. And just to sum up, the value of being authentic and being yourself, he came on stage, and I didn't see his shoes, but apparently he's wearing Doc Martens, and what appeared to be a nice pair of jeans, black collared shirt, and his hair's up in a man bun. And he's talking about his brand and the perception of his appearance and what have you. And he says, here it is. This is how authentic this is. I wear Doc Martens because they're orthopedically correct for my back. I wear these jeans because apparently they make my ass look good. I wear a black t-shirt or a collared shirt because it doesn't show sweat stains. Very true. And he made a reference to a light blue colored shirt or something. And he says, I put my hair up in a man bun because I'm lazy and it's easy. That kind of authenticity might be harder for you to build your audience online because people aren't used to that. They're used to the cheesy awesome sauce. But the cheesy awesome sauce goes bad really, really fast, and authenticity never fades, never gets old. Once you have filled that trust gap and people are on board with your content and what you're doing, as long as you continue doing that, you will have success. And quite frankly, I would rather it take a little longer. I'm slowly building my stuff. I've just really, really focused on my communications business over the last 3 months. I had a business center before, I had a little detour. And I would rather follow people of quality and slowly grow my audience and continue to provide good content than buy followers and be fake or constantly post these quotes and whatever that just everybody's doing that. Please stop doing that. I post occasionally, but I only post them from books I've read. Just be yourself. Follow the WYSIWYG principle. Honestly, after reading this book, I felt so much better about the fact that doing it everybody else's way just was sticking in my craw. And I'm going to keep going, because if Scott Stratten can be named one of the top 5 social media influencers by Forbes by just being himself, I'm going to stick with that plan. That sounds awesome to me. No cheesy sauce required. So check it out. Unmarketing by Scott Stratten. He's got a ton of great keynotes and speaking gigs that are online. Their podcast is really funny too. Lots of information there as well. And just to wrap it up, just know that you have the guts and glory to make your own story. Maybe we'll see you on the stage one day with a man bun and a pair of Doc Martens, making everybody laugh. And that's everything. I will talk to you soon. Next podcast is going to be about cheesy awesome sauce and why that's so bad for your business. If you have any books that you're enjoying reading or anything that you've learned in marketing that's a good tip, please leave it in the comments below. You can visit me at mcvcommunications.ca, or I'm on Twitter at mcvplouf and Instagram at mcvplouf as well. Have a fantastic day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.